Hey, it's good to see you. Hello, and welcome to this video. This video is a tarot reading. It is a tarot reading for love. Now, this idea of a reading for love may apply to you because you're in a partnership. So it may be about you and your current love interest. It may also, if you are not in a partnership right now, apply to a future partner. It may also apply to greater relational dynamics, say if you have more than one partner. And of course, if you're not really looking for love in another or that kind of connection as a source of love per se, then you can also receive this reading as one about you yourself. So maybe different aspects of yourself or different sides of yourself. Something in you that can be catalyzed or somehow activated in terms of self-care or integration. So with that in mind, we will get into it. We have 3 piles to choose from tonight. This is pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. This is 1, 2, and 3. Here we have a piece of malachite. This is a stone for transformation, for grounding, and it's associated with the heart chakra. The second pile has a piece of smoky quartz. This stone is for protection, cooperation, and it's associated with the root chakra. And finally, pile 3 here has this piece, I'm still practicing how to say it, of dumortierite, I think. So it's Dumortierite. Dumortierite. So this stone or crystal is about or for tranquility, harmony, and it's associated with the throat chakra. So we have a green stone, transparent kind of gray stone, a blue stone, associated with different chakras and associated with different piles here. So pile 1, pile 2, pile 3. If you just soften your gaze and just open up a space here, you may feel that one of these piles is pulling you more than the others. So I'll leave timestamps down below. So once you've chosen your pile, just find the corresponding timestamp, and I will see you there for your reading. Hey group 1, and welcome to your reading. You are group 1 and you chose this piece of malachite. So I'll just put this over here. Now, as I said in the beginning of this video, this could be for you and your current love interest, for you and a future love interest. You could also think of it as 2 sides of yourself. However you choose to see this is up to you, and I would likewise say the decisions you make within your relationship are yours alone. You are the expert of your relationship, but the cards are just here to introduce some topics or reflect some energies that may be worth giving some thought to. So, with that said, we'll get into it. Starting up here with you and your love interest and your dynamic, we have the King of Pentacles and Strength. So this is Balsam Apple, and here we have Deadly Nightshade. So the King of Pentacles is a card of ambition, of security. He's gotten where he has, which is a very comfortable place, through hard work, steady effort. Deadly Nightshade is, well, rather Strength is a card of confidence and inner power. Chariot's more about outer power, and Strength is about inner power, like power of the heart and of self-knowledge. I'm getting that one of you has really high ambitions. Maybe you both do, but one has higher ambitions than the other and is kind of like destined for worldly material success. This card is the King of many successes. He's an unstoppable force in terms of just steady effort. Steady effort is unstoppable. It has its own momentum and it has its own like pull. It just has like a force field around it, right? So it's interesting too, because this tree I think can grow just about anywhere and grows really quickly. It's shade tolerant and it can pollinate its own seeds, I believe. So it's just a powerhouse in terms of surviving and thriving. The other part here, the other half of your love connection, has more power over their mind. They're very self-regulated, very self-assured, disciplined, and resilient. Again, they have this really strong heart, and it's like a strength that comes from the inside, from self-knowledge, a calm kind of courage. And it's someone who knows that everything they need to succeed is inside of them. They already have it. They don't have to get it from elsewhere. So what's really interesting here between the two of you is that I'm getting that in slightly different ways, you're both really strong manifestors. You get what you want, you know how to set goals, you know how to go after them. You're both patient, you don't mind sustained effort, and you're both steady. Maybe one part of your relationship, not a problem at all, just kind of reflecting the differences now between these energies. One part is a little more far-reaching, like a little more ambitious, a little more materially driven, a little more security-driven, and the other a little more inwardly driven with immense self-knowledge. Both stable, both secure, both with lots of integrity. Yeah, just like a lot in common and still some differences, but a lot in common. So then your dynamic, we have salt, purification, balance, endurance. You understand each other because of your similarities, while also balancing each other with those differences I just mentioned. More outwardly driven, more inwardly driven is balanced. And it's like together you have the potential to really go the distance. The power to go the distance together and the power, like within your relationship, but also to go really far in the world as well. Through appreciating one another's strengths, which is like a balance of material wealth and strong inner resolve. This person can make things real and tangible more readily, and this person is more easily aligned with values. So then together, reminding each other or sharing resources with each other. You're balanced, and you're unstoppable. There's this slow energy, this slow, steady energy that's going to take you forward. Okay, now for your strengths, or rather, I guess before we get into this, I also want to just bring in the malachite. Like, another word on this balance is that there's like a flow of love here, compassion, a knowingness between you that is tying in really beautifully with the heart chakra as represented by this stone. So, okay, strengths. We have the Ace of Wands and the Two of Wands. Really interesting. The Ace of Wands is a card of passion and creative inspiration and success. Aloe too has wound healing properties, as I'm sure you know. It's anti-inflammatory properties. And then we have Royal Poinciana. The Two of Wands is about decisions and aspirations, and kind of prospecting, like the first steps forward in something, which goes really well with your two energies. I'm getting that there's a very strong beginning to this relationship, super strong. And it's like the fire of it is carried in part by your combined vision and willpower, as well as your ability to realize your respective visions together. It's like as creatives, perhaps, maybe you're both creatives, there's something in your lives, each of you, that you're passionate about. And there's also likely passion between you. This plant too has healing properties. I think it's also used to treat inflammation. And has like microbials or something in it. And it's like a strong start, and then a kind of looking out at all the doors that are available to you. So I'm getting that this relationship will be successful on your terms, like within it, but then it's also going to look very successful to the outside world. Like, you're gonna be couple goals, basically. I feel like people will envy what you have together, what you have between you, and your love, your passion, your compatibility is just going to be very obvious, just like red on your faces. And together, you have the chance to aim to do something bigger than either one of you, something big in the world, to reach a new vista and to achieve more. It's like a high achieving relationship. So it's really beautiful strengths. Okay, then lessons. We have King of Wands and the Tower. Okay. So the King of Wands is represented here by the tiger lily. And this whole card is about leadership. I think we're already kind of getting that message from these cards, but even more so, really strong leadership. Like the King of Pentacles is a leader. Strength has a kind of ability for that as well, but the King of Wands is just like on fire with the ability to inspire people to take action and align with their values, and is also dependable. The Tower, here we have hibiscus and serpent, so it's sudden change or power structures challenged. There's a lot of different kinds of tiger lily, and sometimes it can be hard to tell the difference between the different types of tiger lily. So maybe there will be some difficulty at times with both of you being leaders, both of you having a vision. The question would be like, how will you reconcile your visions should they differ? Or how will you combine your visions? There's a lot of fire energy here. So a lot of strength between you both, from each of you, just a lot of strength, passion. There's a lesson here in like learning how over time to harness your respective eagernesses, if you will, to achieve your eagerness to achieve. How do you harness those drives to make sure you are directing your goals and not letting your goals direct you? And that will enable you to come together on those. Then we also have the Tower. So I think there's a bit of a warning here that with high highs may come some low lows. Like if either of you, because you're so powerful as leaders, if either of you get too big for your britches, the relationship may not hold. At the same time, there's a force, like a fiery force in your relationship, and that same resilience can carry you through any chaos, any resistance or upheaval if you let it. I think also part of this vision or dream that you may have or share together, with these two cards combined, this form of leadership, this passionate leadership, and this kind of card of power structures turned over, just challenged and like flipped. There's a chance also that the two of you may come together to fight against structures of power that you don't agree with, to upend power structures that do not serve the people or that do not align with your values. Yeah, and I think one clear takeaway from the lessons part of this reading is maybe because you had such an easy start, it's going to be important to not always assume that it will be like that. Don't coast on your relationship because it's easy. Put in effort all the same to protect it from times of trouble, should they come. Okay, and then we have a focus for you going forward. Kind of aid or advice for your relationship. We have float, resiliency, buoyancy, drift. This card to me is saying that it's going to be wise for you, or like healing for you, to tap into the current of things. Tap into the current between the two of you, and also the current as it pertains to your visions and goals, and also the current of the outside world, like a reminder to be present with one another, to not take one another for granted, Do not get ahead of yourselves as individuals, like with your goals and visions, nor as a couple. If you can find ease and presence at each step of the journey, just being in that step, then you will go far. And it's almost like through finding ease, you will really feel the ease. Like, make it a point to find the ease, and you're just gonna float. It's gonna come so easy. That ease is definitely available to you. Okay, alright, group 1. I'm gonna leave your reading there. I hope it resonated with you. If it did, please let me know down below in what ways it did. I'd love to hear always how this connects with you. I hope you are doing super, super, super well. And if you're not, that's okay too. I will talk to you very soon. And until then, good night, good night, good night. Hey, group 2, and welcome to your reading. As I said in the intro for this video, this reading could be for you and your current love interest, or for you and your future love interest, or any number of relational dynamics you want to apply it to, including to you and another side of yourself. This is open to everyone, so I hope you enjoy it. We are going to get started with the 2 dynamics up here of this relationship. Okay, we have the 4 of Pentacles and the 6 of Cups. The 4 of Pentacles here is represented by Spider Lily. And this card is about, it's like a strong desire for security, a little bit of guardedness, and like a holding tight. And there's a duality in this card, like you've succeeded in this card. You've succeeded in acquiring something you wanted, but then because you have it and you wanted it so bad, you're holding it too tightly to really enjoy it. So the duality is like there's some success, but it's coupled with fear. A little bit of scarcity mindset. And so this card is often challenging you to loosen up your sense of possessiveness, of scarcity, to let go of jealousy sometimes. Beyond like a love reading specifically, just broadly speaking, sometimes this card is a reflection of maybe feeling like you don't deserve what you have, feeling like there's a chance it might be taken from you, and those fears are like really clouding your ability to be in that moment and to enjoy the thing. So then we also have 6 of Cups, which is the Phoenix Eye fruit. I think it's called Phoenix Eye fruit because when it ripens, the pod splits open and the seeds are inside and kind of look like a phoenix eye, like a bird eye opening. And I think the fruit is really nutrient dense. Either way, this card, 6 of Cups, is a card of nostalgia and comfort. It can represent the comfort of the familiar. Sometimes it can also represent an idealized past. So maybe this is someone easy, someone you feel at home with. It could also be someone who you're remembering a certain way, or thinking about in a certain way, idealizing them. They might actually be that good. It might actually be the familiar, comfortable thing, and pure and true and good. A really sweet, really perfect love. Or it could be an idealization of them that is less true, more kind of fantasy. It's got that quality to it, though, of like fairy tale kind of love story, head over heels, first love, love at first sight. There's some kind of magnetic, deeply rooted attraction between you that's hard to explain. You're just drawn to each other. You're like weirdly attracted to each other. So let's learn more about that. I want to get into these cards, but first I'll flip this, which is your dynamic. We have foam, so ephemerality, nostalgia, and evanescence. It's so funny that nostalgia came up, because that's one of my personal keywords for the Six of Cups. Wow, okay, so I think these aspects of the relationship may not last. The connection itself may also not last. Or it could just be these aspects of it, like the luster may wear off, and with that will come a truer understanding of your dynamic. Likewise, it may be that the scarcity mindset held here wears off, and when it does, what will follow is true trust, actual comfort, not an idealized version, but true unconditional support and love. But there will almost certainly be some kind of shift, a lifting of some kind of veil, a lifting of anxious attachment perhaps, or a lifting of the ideal, a lifting of the ideal version of something. Both will lead you to a true understanding of one another, whether or not you're still together. That's up to you. But some shift is a part of your true coming together, or your true, like, the arc of your story. I think also, I forgot to say, you chose smoky quartz. And as I said, this is connected to the root chakra. So I do find it interesting. We have some questions of security here between you. And only you know if those questions are warranted. If it's maybe like just a fear-based question of security, or if it's like a kind of question that you really need a rational, actual answer to. Okay, here we have the strengths of the connection. So we have China Aster, which is the Nine of Wands, and Snake Vine, Seven of Cups. So Nine of Wands here I'm feeling is like, it's grit, it's earned wisdom earned from like overcoming past struggles. Here I think it's bringing to us like a return of unresolved issues from the past. They popped up again. It's a little annoying. Like you thought that you had bested them or resolved them, but they might still linger. And then here we have Seven of Cups, Snake Vine. So Seven of Cups, it's like daydreaming, some illusion, many options, and sometimes a hard time choosing. This plant too, I know, is used as a screening plant on walls and fences and stuff. So taken together, I feel like it's like don't build on sand. There may be something fanciful to this, like this fairy tale part of it that exists in your head only. Like visions are beautiful ways to connect with your emotions, your desires, impulses, your imagination, your fears. But visions, they need to be grounded in action and in reality in order to have meaning or value. When they remain visions or fantasies, they don't hold water, they don't hold meaning or value. So it's like something came back, popped up in your head or spiritually that needs to be dealt with. It's like, I'm trying to think of examples. Like, again, maybe what needs to be dealt with is your fanciful idea of this relationship. Or it could be from without, like from outside of your relationship. So maybe the thing that needs to be dealt with is comparing this relationship to another, needing to let go of an ex, needing to let them in. Something you've struggled with in the past, coming back. But these cards are also holding their places in the strength part of this reading. So I believe you'll overcome it. The cards are saying you will. And you'll be stronger for it, and the relationship will be truer for it. Again, I'm just getting a lot of like, there's this idea of a veil needing to be lifted. That doesn't mean yes or no, you'll stay together or not. It just means there's like some layer that needs to be like skimmed off so it can become truer. And no matter which way it goes, you're going to be better, wiser, stronger after that's lifted or skimmed. And this is where we get our lessons, but there's also a lesson here a lesson about seeking and protecting and pulling in more sustaining and more sustainable foundations for your relationship and for anything else you might want for yourself. Then we have lessons. So what might you face? We have the Knight of Cups and the Six of Swords. It's funny, it's almost like these are reversed. So there's like a mixing of the high and low here for you, where what feels low is going to bring you like a solid gold to truth almost, and what feels high might be still high but a little complicated is what I'm getting. We have the Six of Swords, which is Egyptian Senna, and the Knight of Cups, which is Beard Tongue. So, Knight of Cups, heart on his sleeve, idealistic. These are beautiful flowers and they're not hard to grow. They're very drought tolerant, and also they attract a lot of hummingbirds, which I'm also realizing in Spanish, hummingbird is picaflor, like pica, like poking flower, picaflor, which means hummingbird, but it can also mean a flirt. So actually, yeah, this card is like extra romantic or like very heart-centered in this deck. He's a knight that moves more slowly than other knights with his heart on his sleeve. And his card reflects the importance of being in touch with your own emotions, the importance of trusting your intuition and your heart's knowledge and your heart's wisdom. And then we have Egyptian Senna here, which is like Six of Swords, is leaving something behind, introducing distance, moving to calmer waters by leaving behind what you don't need. I feel like this is about leaving behind those idealized expectations of this partner, current or future. Moving on from these unresolved issues of the past and healing your heart. So it's quite beautiful, actually. The process may be difficult, just difficult to resolve these two spheres, like this, the fantasy part, the fairy tale part, and the reality part. So what you actually need and what you actually have part. But this is going to be the greatest lesson and the greatest takeaway from this relationship or this phase of this relationship, that through this relationship you'll find a lot of opportunity for growth and a way to kind of learn how to like pin together romantic fantasy with reality, to kind of keep the best of both worlds by cutting your fantasies down to size, and then pinned to reality, they also like add a luster to the reality. So like cutting the fantasies down to size, but also keeping enough luster to add shine to what would otherwise be a dull reality. Yeah, it's like a reconciliation of fact and fiction, or fact and fantasy. Okay. And then here we have focus. So wonder, vibrancy, surprise, abalone. I feel like this is drawing in a little bit of that shimmer, sheen I was talking about. Like, I think it's advising you to focus on that. This might sound weird, but like not living totally in the shimmer. It has to be tied to something, or it's not tangible. And also not living solely in the dullness of all hopes dashed, fairy tale over, because that's no good either. Your hopes and your dreams and your fantasy for this connection are important because they point you in the direction of what you want. So again, there's this opportunity here to reconcile the two halves, like harmonize them, keeping the shimmer on the shell, putting it on the shell, making the shimmer like real and tangible, because then it's something you get to keep. Not being so realistic that you lose the love, the passion, the dream, but also not being so unrealistic in your expectations either that you can't walk in the real world or be present with your partner. It's like allowing yourself to be surprised by what really is, instead of reaching always for what you imagined it would be or should be, and then feeling disappointed when it turns to air in your hand. Just have wonder and surprise for like what is actually presented to you. And you'll find a lot of happiness here within this relationship, and or to carry with you forward. Alright, group 2, I'm going to leave your reading there. I hope it resonated with you. If it did, please let me know down below. I always love to hear from you and to hear how this connects with you. I hope you're doing super, super, super well. And if you're not, that is okay too. I will talk to you very soon. And until then, good night. Good night. Good night. Hey, group 3, and welcome to your reading. As I said in the intro, this can be a love reading for you and your current love interest, you and a future love interest, any other relational dynamic you might think of or want to apply it to, including two sides of yourself, whatever you like. This is available to everyone. So, you chose pile 3, group 3, which had this stone of Dumortierite. This is a beautiful stone, so I'll just put it right here. And we'll get started. I'm going to start up here with you and your partner, these energies and your dynamic. So, we have Judgment and the King of Cups. Judgment here is represented by Elderberry. This card's about awakening, like a call, a higher calling and a purpose. You may have a big choice to make, something that's pulling you that you have to choose if you want to meet. It's feeling to me like it's outside of your relationship, but will nevertheless affect your relationship. It's like you're on a higher path or being called to a higher path. The cards are saying it's like a higher calling outside of your relationship, which touches everything and informs everything around you. You know what this is, or you will soon. And then we have Grapevine. So this card is about wisdom, like emotional wisdom and generosity. Grapeseed extract is used to strengthen tissue connection and help collagen in the skin. And then also there's wine. Love wine. This card to me is like a very supportive partner. This is a partner who can celebrate you, who sees you as you really are, sees all of you, and whatever you're protecting or will protect to aim high for here, they protect too, because they're your greatest defender, your greatest protector, and an enduring source of support. Yeah, it's great. Okay, so your dynamic then between you. Tide. We have flow, change, presence. I think this is like, it feels to me, this is kind of as it pertains to the King of Cups. The King of Cups has this knowledge of emotions. He's so emotionally intelligent. He knows that emotions flow through us. No emotion lasts forever. And you just have to let them flow through you. He can handle the high tide, the low tide. He's never bothered by emotions, but he still connects to them, knowing that it's just water, that it moves through us and gives our lives meaning. So I feel like part of the dynamic here is that as your attention is demanded by your higher purpose or calling, this person, they can support you and remain flexible. They're very able to respond to the moment at hand as it arrives, which is what you need, I think, in order to be fully self-actualized. And then, also, because the stone relates to the throat chakra, I feel like there's a great ability here to express yourself clearly to one another and to have your thoughts, your desires, yourselves seen and known by one another. Okay, moving on now to the strengths of this relationship. We have the Nine of Pentacles and the Hierophant. So this is Clover. This card is like reward. It's leisure after hard work. So it's about beauty, leisure, discipline, and success. And then Clover, of course, is a symbol of luck. I think a strength here is this good omen. It's like a blessed connection. And it's suggesting to a kind of success for both of you, but especially this person. Like, it's success. Okay, pentacles, yes, material wealth and all of that, but it's kind of taking what you've been given in life, your circumstances, the conditions, and making success from that. This idea of the self-actualization that I mentioned, it's not just luck falling upon you, it's luck because you made it lucky. And then we have, I don't know how to say this, Mari. The Hierophant is about tradition, about strongly held beliefs. And in this context, I'm getting like devotion. Yeah, like devotion in protecting the other's time, devotion in protecting the other's space, so that each can grow as full and bright as possible. Yeah, a strength is supporting each other in a very pure way. Support and like service and kindness, not in an ego-driven way. Like an ego-driven way might be like what you think the other person would need or enjoy, and what they actually need or enjoy is different, right? So not that. It's more like knowing what they actually need, knowing what they actually enjoy, and giving it without requiring applause for your sacrifice. Not doing it for show, doing that support, showing that support within the privacy of your own connection. It's true support. And kind of also, like maybe even, it's so non-ego driven. It's like also sometimes getting out of the other person's way so they can shine, achieve, or restore themselves, so they can self-actualize, and vice versa. And then coming back together whole and both being better for it. Getting like a certain independence that you enable in one another that makes you really strong and your connection really strong. Okay, and then here. These are lessons, or these two cards together are a lesson. We have Nine of Swords and the Ten of Swords. So, Nine of Swords, which here is represented by the rattle pod, is a kind of like card of anxiety or nightmares, being up late at night. Nightmares, like things stuck on the mind. I believe this plant is poisonous, so something to look out for. And this card is about something keeping you up at night. Then we have Rose Apple. This card is about the end of a cycle, the exhaustion of a cycle. And this one actually has edible fruits that are good for the gut. Yeah. So I'm getting there may be a period of like mood swings or like a rainy season, figuratively speaking. It's unclear to me if the gloom will be experienced by one or both of you. But it's like the gloom will be heightened by you, like in your mind. The gloom will be heightened by bias. How to explain? Like maybe a few things will pile on and suddenly it will seem so much heavier than it would otherwise. Because of the way it sits in your head. I think a lesson here and a takeaway the cards are suggesting is like an aspect of this relationship or a moment of this will be about teaching you to get out of your head. When my head is not a nice place to be, as I think I've told you before, I find it helps to tap into my body. Go for walks, go for a run, dance, take a bath, massage your feet, really anything. It's like the lesson here is going to be when something less than ideal happens, one or both of you is going to want to think your way out of it, like bang your head against the wall trying to think your way out of it. And you can think your way out of a lot of things, but you can't think your way out of everything. And the cards are sending a reminder that it's really important to remember in this relationship or in general for life that thinking more does not always lead to a good solution or any solution at all. Sometimes thinking and thinking and thinking just digs a hole. So when it's raining, figuratively, don't get stuck in your head. Get into your body, get into a feeling place that's like not logic driven. Get into a creative place. Any of those will help a lot. And if it's the one who has this calling who's getting kind of stuck in thought, the King of Cups here is going to be a great support for kind of flipping the switch on that cycle. Okay. Then finally we have some advice or like a focus. Oyster, transformation, contradiction, elevation. Yeah, you're gonna elevate one another. You're going to be able to achieve things together that would otherwise be unavailable to you. And it's going to be through mutual devotion, reverence, and support. Might be slightly one-sided, like one person having this like very big higher calling, but the support, the reverence, the devotion is mutual here. It will be paid in kind. It will be this kind cycle between you as you like uplift one another. It's gonna be a true partnership. Alright. Okay. Group 3. I'm gonna leave your reading here. I hope this resonated with you. If it did, please let me know down below how it did. It's always really lovely to hear. I hope you are doing super, super, super well. And if you're not, that's okay too. I will talk to you very soon. And until then, good night.